Welcome everyone to the live stream of the Portfolio Student Review. We have lots of portfolios to review today. I'm going to stall for a couple of minutes so I can wait for people to kind of hop on live so we can have some live comments. So I'm just going to spend 2 to 3 minutes updating you on what's new, kind of what's going on. You're looking right now at a resource that's in my newest freelancing masterclass. I have a whole section on there about building portfolios. We build a portfolio using Adobe Portfolio, and we build a traditional PDF portfolio. And fortunately, 4 of you guys did submit a traditional PDF portfolio, so we get to review website-based portfolios and PDF-based portfolios. So we have I have a lot of great resources in that freelancing class, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that. Lots of different layout options. We'll see today so many different presentations of portfolios. I'll let you know what's working, what's not working. Of course, this is just my opinion. I've had to hire a lot of creative freelancers working as an art director for several clients of mine. So I have a little bit of experience looking through lots of creative portfolios, and I kind of found out over the years what works and what doesn't work, and some things work better for catching my attention than others. But I think a theme that you'll notice throughout is simplicity works. So having a portfolio that's as scaled down, as simple as possible, is going to be the most effective in catching the eye of a professional who is looking for a creative. So sometimes you have people who are not creative people, like clients that are looking for a creative person. And sometimes you have art directors who are creative people who are also looking at creative portfolios. So you kind of have a wide audience to work with. So it can be a little challenging getting that perfect portfolio together, but hopefully today we'll get some nice tips and tricks to help you really fine tune that. And of course, that section in that Going Freelance course right here, the Freelance Masterclass, has a whole section on portfolio building and pricing your work. And it goes over so much about going freelance, being with a focus on creatives. So creatives are graphic designers, web designers, illustrators, photographers, anyone who has a creative skill set and is freelance. So one more minute, I'm going to go ahead and refresh my other computer so I can see your live comments and kind of see who's hopping in live, and also make sure everything is working correctly. Make sure my audio is working okay. If there's any problem, please let me know. Let me go see where I'm live. There I am. Let's see who's on here. Got a couple people joining. Of course, this is always a tough time to get people during the day. I have a lot of people in other time zones. They're sleeping, so you can always watch the video later if you don't catch it. So hi, everybody. Glad you're here. We got over 40 portfolios to review. I'm going to talk about one quick thing, and we're going to get to the good stuff. So if you ever want to buy one of my courses on Udemy, make sure you go to my portfolio first, which is lindsaymarsh.myportfolio.com. And I actually use Adobe Portfolio to build this website, and that's free for anybody who has an Adobe Creative subscription. That's a great kind of website to use to build your own portfolios. So there's always those discounts to all my classes here. And there's also a link to my Skillshare classes. I'm also on Skillshare. And also check out that latest class, the Freelance Masterclass. And one last thing, I love reviews. Please, 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 if you're on Skillshare or if you're a student on Udemy, please take the time, just a couple minutes, to leave a review on any of the classes you've taken. I read every single one of them, and I love to hear your feedback. I love to see your comments. Some of them are near and dear to my heart, as I posted the other day. So enough of that stuff. Let's get to the portfolios. So I have a lot here to review, so we're just going to kind of go in order. A lot of these are web-based, and I have a couple of traditional PDF portfolios I'm going to get to halfway through, just so we can look at something. Okay, so Mohammed, we're going to just go in order. So this looks like a Behance portfolio. We're just going to start in the beginning and work our way down. So a lot of these I've looked at for a few seconds, but I've tried to avoid studying them too much because I want to have a first impression reaction and be as honest as I can with reactions. And another thing, as I'm reviewing all these portfolios, I'm not reviewing your work. That's for another day. I'm reviewing how you're presenting your work. So I'm not going to sit there and go, this work is not good, you should put, it's really about how you're presenting the work and less about the work itself. So the Best in Show winner, there's going to be a Best in Show winner, whoever I think has the strongest portfolio today will have their portfolio sent out to all my 50,000 plus students, so you can kind of get your portfolio out there in front of a lot of people. But the winner of that may not have the best design projects. They may not be the best designer, but they did a good job at presenting their work in a really nice portfolio way. So that's kind of got that out of the way. So Mohammed, I really kind of like your background. I know with Behance, you can kind of have a header image. You have a little bit of this nice branding here. You have this beautiful M symbol logo, and you also kind of tied that in with your banner. So that looks really lovely. And also another thing I look for is down here, making sure I have an easy to access website. It's great to have a Behance portfolio, and if that's all you can afford because it's free, that's okay. If you can't afford to get a standalone website, it's totally understandable, but I love to see access to a website also. So if I wanted to kind of see more of an official website, it's nice to have both. Not everybody can afford to buy a hosting plan for a website, but it's always really nice. So you got a lot of good appreciation, some good followers. It is hard to get followers on Behance. Even I have problems getting views on projects. It's just oversaturated. There's so many people posting work on here. It is hard to stand out. So don't get frustrated if it's hard to stand out. So get to know me, kind of a nice short bio. It's not too long. You're not going on and on. I kind of like that. You have some nice things already inputted here. So let's look at kind of the projects that you present first. Some of these are really lovely. The best or the most important thing to really keep in mind is your project image cover photos. That's almost more important than the project itself because it's really what inspires me to go further into the process and find more about your project. So these are really great. They're cropped really wonderfully. This is beautifully detailed. You're not showing me, I'm not overwhelmed. I really understand that you did this as a logo design and branding project. It's wonderful cover images. Wonderfully presented. I like this personal branding project that you also included. I love putting personal work on a portfolio because it's great to pair with client work because let's be honest, clients always prevent us from doing the best work possible sometimes. So that's why doing personal work where we have total control over the design is sometimes nice to show because we get to really show our talent with our personal projects. So I really don't mind. This is beautiful work, wonderful presentation. You notice there's not a lot of huge white space. He shows in a nice big photo. You scroll down and you just have content. It's just rich. There's a lot going on here and I love it. And it's not too busy and it's well paced. Everything down here. This is a fantastic portfolio, by the way. Wonderful examples here. I like the branding throughout this. You're kind of using that purple background. You're not just putting everything on a gray or black or white background. You're bringing in the branded colors here. So this is beautiful. You got your M. You even have a little thank you at the bottom. I actually like that. I can go ahead and appreciate that project because I think it's well done. So far this is good. I'm not going to review every single project, but I like how you only have 5 here. That looks really nice. I don't feel like I have to scroll and see hundreds and hundreds of different. A lot of people do that. They put hundreds of projects and some of those projects will never get seen. So sometimes you need to remove some that no longer, portray your work because you've gotten better. So don't be afraid of removing work or projects that you think are no longer reflect your skill set. So you're going to take a look at this too because I think the way he presents it is really excellent. I like this starter image. It's nice, big, and bold. And then there's a little bit of a description. He kind of goes into why he chose that particular thing. And I like the last one didn't explain to me his process, and I kind of missed that. So it's kind of nice having this really short paragraph that kind of describes, gives a little bit of a background. So this is wonderful work here. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. Another thing, you don't want to make these too long because then you're scrolling and scrolling and then I can't get to the appreciate button. I guess the appreciate button's here, but it's nice to get down to the bottom so you feel like you finished these. So don't make them too long. I say right about here would be as long as you want to make it. And that's perfect. So that's a good length for Behance. So I'm spending a little more time on this because I think it's a really great example. So wonderful job. I think they also have a dribble, which I don't think I've logged in right now, but kind of a similar presentation. It looks really nice. These are a little bit shorter project presentations and that's fine, but I think that looks really good. So we're going to move on. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm not missing any comments. So just say comments, how you're feeling. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What do you think they can improve? Be as active as you want to in the comment section. All right, so we have another one here. He's very active on our student Facebook group here. So he's always posting his work, so it's kind of nice to see this. So this looks like anything that's .my portfolio is using the Adobe Portfolio, which is a free portfolio for anyone who has the Creative or the Adobe Creative Cloud subscription. So it's a great option to build your portfolio with. They have some templates that look really good. I really like this. It's simple and clean. He has his logo here. I can read his name. Not sure if your last name is important. Sometimes it is. It can look a little more professional, but in this case, I don't mind not seeing your last name. But sometimes it's important in certain industries for you to kind of establish a full name if your first name is very common. So I don't know if you're in your country, if your name is a unique name, but if it's a very common name, having that last name really helps with the personal branding. So portfolio, artwork, about me, and contact. So let's go ahead and just scroll down. We have some nice big cover images. These look really good. I kind of recognize some of these projects as we do some of that in my class. So that's kind of really neat to kind of see on here. So he's got 6. He did a good job. That's all he has. I'm not having to keep scrolling and scrolling to find more projects. I think that's a great amount, anywhere from 3 to 6 total projects. I like to see anything more than that. It overwhelms me and I'll never get to it as someone who's looking at hundreds of different portfolios. Let's go to artwork. So artwork, so this must be illustration. So we may need to define differences. It says you're a graphic designer and then you have kind of illustration. So maybe instead of artwork, maybe say illustration or something that establishes kind of the difference between portfolio and artwork. Because portfolio, it looks like these are all graphic design projects with maybe the exception of that one. And then artwork seems to kind of be its own little thing. So just kind of making sure they know what this is. This isn't just this isn't graphic design. This section isn't, it's more illustration. But this is where that thin line where graphic design and illustration can kind of come together a little bit. So this is kind of, wow, that's really beautiful. Look at the detailed pen work. That's beautiful. Probably, I think you did this in Adobe Illustrator with the pen tool. That's pretty darn good. So love kind of how you show how you inked it. And I think that's a brand new one that you did. So I almost wish you could do thumbnails with this, but you know, maybe kind of simplifying this just a little bit. You might be able to remove some of these and kind of keep ones because you're showing the process, which is neat. But I would love you to highlight this a little bit more, make it bigger, and maybe talk about that project a little bit and show the steps. Step 1, step 2, then inking. That would be more special to me than seeing so many different things and getting a little bit overwhelmed. And so about me, have a picture, which is great. I like how it's cropped. So I think that all looks good. Software skills, design skills. I almost wonder if we could do a 2-column because this is a lot of wasted space. So maybe put a headshot here and then put kind of 2 columns of information so they can see a lot about you, almost like a dashboard. They could see all about you without having to go below the fold, which the below the fold is when you have to scroll. That comes from newspaper terminology way back in the day. So easy contact button, that looks great. Super simple. I wish there was a way you can get rid of some of that. I'm not sure. I think you could do that in Adobe Portfolio Template Builder. You could reduce some of that white space so you can make sure everything is pulled up a little bit so they don't have to scroll as much. So good job. All right, let's go ahead and close some of these windows. Okay, so we have next. Okay, Shah. So meet Shah. So do you have a last name? Last names are so important when it comes to personal branding and kind of establishing your name. Sometimes you can have a special business name. That is okay. But Shahu, you know, kind of, I like having that last name. Not required, but sometimes I like to see that. So I kind of see 3. Let me see if you have another website. I think you have a YouTube video as well. And I think you had another thing, but I didn't think we had time to get to all of that. So let's just take a look at one of these and see how you present your work. So nice, big, bold, high resolution photo. So that looks good. What I would do here is have a little less background and focus a little bit more on the design. Just bring that in, have a tighter cropping for that. So maybe crop it around here so you really get to see the details of your design. And so this is a very short description. I would go a little bit more in detail. Tell me the story of this package design. Why did you pick this logo? Did you do the logo design? You know, maybe have some more follow-up images besides just one image. I think it'll go in more detail of really telling the story of this project instead of just having one project and that's it. Because it kind of is like, oh, that's it. You know, you want to go into more of that detail. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick one more. Let's do this last one. So once again, I don't know much about this project. There's nothing to describe what it is. I'm pretty sure he did the package design there, but did he do the logo? Why did he choose that color? Why did he choose the background? You know, I don't know any information about this. So I would definitely add a little bit of description and add more than one photo to bring it to life a little bit more. So this one a little bit tells a story. It shows kind of your white space around the logo. It goes into more detail, but I would definitely, you know, maybe show the logo without the spacing. I guess you kind of do that here. Maybe different presentations of the logo. This is a logo of a cosmetic company which says glow like the sun and moon. What was your origin of the symbol? Is it using the golden ratio? Go ahead and talk about that a little bit. So it just adds more of that rich description. And so let me take a look here and see what we have for YouTube. I think you have a YouTube video. I may have to turn down the sound. I'm not sure. So he did a video-based portfolio, which are really nice. I love to see video-based stuff. So that's beautiful drawing work there, sketching. So I didn't know if you were on the market to do graphic design or illustration and sketching. And so that might be where you have two separate portfolios, one for drawing and an illustration, and then one for graphic design, because there's a point where those do start to divide in terms of getting client work. So I'm just going to skip through just because I don't have time to do all of it, but I think this is really kind of, love the video presentation, kind of showing different things. I think it works. And you even do 3D animation. So you may be at the point where you need to maybe have two different videos, one that focuses on getting illustration clients and animation clients, and one that focuses on graphic design clients. But I do love the video-based approach. Okay, so next, jaw. Let's do jaw. So he has a Behance portfolio, a lot of Behance. That's not even the right person. Make sure that is right. I might have to Google. I don't know why it's going to someone else, unless that's you, but I doubt that. So let me just go ahead and copy and paste and find your name just to make sure. And I don't know, I can't find you. Are you live? Let me see if you're live. You are. Is that you? That's me. Okay, I was just making sure. Okay, all right, awesome. So I love your headshot. That's a beautiful headshot. I want you to notice the lighting of the headshot. There's a nice bright background. There's bright lighting. That is an excellent headshot. So everybody take notice. She has a smile. It looks really awesome. Okay, so graphic designer from Vienna, Austria. Wonderful. Lots of project views. I'm loving, oh, I remember looking at this one before. This is a lovely package design. Let's go ahead and scroll down and kind of look at this. So not sure if you have another website, but I love to see kind of another website outside of Behance. Not required, but this is something I always click through if I'm really serious about pursuing somebody, just to see if they have another professional profile. So, okay, so designs, you have a quote, love to do, kind of list what you like to do. So let's go ahead and click on one of these. I think I clicked on this one time and really enjoyed it. So she's setting the mood and tone by having this wonderful first image. It's not exactly of her product, but it sets the tone for the branding of it. So I don't mind it, and it doesn't take up the whole page. You can see a little hint of her design down here, and it inspires me to scroll. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. Wonderful presentation. I like how the product is nice and big and in your face. You see the nice, the design work. You see the back. You get to see the side label. You keep scrolling down. I love how there's contrast here. So you have this image that has light and this image that has dark, and it kind of moves smoothly as you go through looking at the portfolio. So this is a nice tight cropped shot. I can see all the details, these little diagonal lines and textures and everything with her design. It looks very lovely. Going to scroll down. We get to see kind of more details. Get to see a lot of detail. We're even going in more detail about the texture of the wrapping and kind of how it has a little bit of that texture to it. You get to see the little details. That's really important in package design. So I'm going to go ahead and appreciate that project. And one thing I am missing is a little bit about it. Just even a very small paragraph describing, you know, what company is it, and kind of what was your main task, and did you do the logo, or just kind of things like that. Just like a little description. You'd even put it on here as a JPEG and just put it on white text here, just a little bit about the project, even if it's just a quick headline about it or a quote from the client. I like putting client quotes if you can get one, if it is a client work project. So this is wonderful. I'm seeing quite a lot of work. I don't mind because it's absolutely beautiful. I love this illustration work here. So it's in your face and it's bold. I get to see the details of the drawing before I get to see it on the product. Get to kind of see all of that. That is wonderful, stunning work. So now I get to see the product. Scroll down, see details. She's breaking down her color palette. And it was the perfect length too. It was the perfect length. I don't like things that are scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. There's a point where you have to cut certain images that are not the best. You pick the best images, and some images do get cut. This is another beautiful one. This has a little bit more about kind of that particular project, which is nice to kind of get a little background before I start to see, details about the package design. So I love how I'm able to see some of the reflection, and I know this is a real photograph because I can tell from the lighting. It's just nice to see it as a real photo. I know sometimes it's hard to get those, and I could tell this is a real photo as opposed to a mock-up, but it just feels more real to me than the mock-ups. But this is nice. I love the black presentation, the black background. It looks really nice. Also, there's 3 images across. That's another wonderful way to present work. You don't have to have these huge images that take up the whole screen all the time. You could switch it up and do small little screenshots of your process and different little details that you can bring out in it. So I'm going to go down and appreciate that project. This is well done. Let's see what I think that's all he had was the Behance. So wonderful work. Look at that. I just love your package design work, your illustrative work, and your typography work. So I love that black presentation. Doesn't that just look really sleek and professional? Look at that. Oh, and I love process photos. And if a creative director or an art director is hiring, maybe from an ad agency, they like to see this. You don't want to put so much that it gets in the way of your final presentation, but it's nice to include one process shot. This is what I like to call process. This is her in process creating this, and it makes it a little bit more real, and it makes it, you could really show that she, did it by hand. This isn't a computerized concept. This is something she hand drew and then vectorized, and it really just, gosh, this is stunning. Wonderful example. Okay, so let's move on to CC. I got a lot more. I'm kind of going at a slower pace, but I thought I'd spend time on ones that worked. I think this has a video that's going to be playing. So let me see. Here's a video, which I like. This is for videography. She does video work, so this is something that she filmed. This is not stock videography. This is something that she did. So this is really cool. I could just sit here and stare at this and really look at kind of, her videography here. So it looks like this one, let me go ahead, my other computer, there we go, just making sure I can see everything. All right, so we have different breakdowns here. So you're kind of a jack of all trades, which is kind of sometimes a little difficult to manage because you're looking for videography clients, design clients, photography clients. They're all going to be maybe a little bit different. So it's hard to kind of funnel people to the next, but I think you did a good job of saying, okay, I am someone looking for design work. So I'm going to click on design, and we can go ahead and load that screen. So what I'm seeing here is a man's face, but I'm not quite sure what it does. So I'm just going to click on it. Facebook ads. Okay, there we go. So what I might do is, and I like these Facebook ads, but what I might do instead of having this one big thumbnail, maybe divide it into 2 or 3 thumbnails so that they can make it bigger if they want to, because at first I didn't quite know what to do with that, in terms of looking at it. So what I would do is definitely make these images smaller if somehow, because it's quite big. I can't quite see the whole project until I click on this button. So just somehow making those are way too big. I'm just seeing the man's face. I really want to see the whole project. So that's what I would do in this case. Here's some more design work. And another thing you could do is these are really different. And so what I might do, scroll back up to the top, is break this down. So you have maybe that layout project here. You have a Facebook thumbnail here, and those will have to just go to another landing page and then feature another project here. And perhaps, 3 more. But I want to see all of your projects here. And if I want to explore more, I can click and explore more. But at this point, it's going to take me a while to scroll through all of this. This is going to take a long time. And I don't know if I'm ever going to get to the really good stuff. You don't want them to miss some of this stuff. So that's definitely what I would do. So let's go ahead and go to videography, kind of see what you have here. So you have play video, so I click and it'll probably open up in a module. So video information, great. So yeah, I like this a lot. Contact, let me see, contact me. And that's pretty simple. Submit, great. Okay, so moving on, we have two here. We have an individual website, so let's go ahead and click on the first one. Okay, so welcome to my portfolio. So Stardust Muse Photographist. Instead of photography, it's a photographist. So we're going to click on this button, see what happens here. Okay, it looks like we have some nice big thumbnails. I like that. Home, about, samples of my work, and be in touch. I almost wish I had that up here. I don't know if that's an option to put that as a menu and then start to put other things here, but let's click on samples of my work. Here's the one thing that needs to be super, super clear when you get on, when I'm a recruiter or someone who's trying to hire you. When I get on your website, I want two things that are very clear. A contact button. I want to contact you right when I get on. I don't want to have to scroll anywhere. And I want to also get right to your work. So I want to have some kind of button that gets me there. I don't want to have to scroll and then find it, because that's, if I'm looking at 100 portfolios, that's a lot of hunting and pecking and finding things. So just trying to make that as simple as possible. So samples of my work, let's go ahead and click on that. So here's some photography. I like this, how this thumbnail, I get to see a lot of projects, but it's not overwhelming. I get to scroll down. I love this is presented very well. I like how this is presented. So great. Another thing would be if you have a case study, like these all seem to be connected, it'd be great to have a little information about that, to separate these somehow in its own little thumbnail portfolio, just to kind of describe why all these are so different, you know. So let's go ahead and go back. Let's see if there's anything else. Be in touch and about. Let's click on your about. Okay, so what I might do, if you have a photo, I think a photo is really important. Not necessary, but I think it helps people emotionally connect with the viewer. So what I would do is I would left justify this, have two columns, and then have a thumbnail image on the right or the left, just to kind of add a little photo about you, maybe just you with a camera in front of your face if you don't want to reveal your face, just finding some way to connect with them emotionally. All right, so moving on, I think there was another website here. I may not have time to do all of these, so I just really want to be careful with time. Okay, so this looks like another individual website. Unique Diversity Freelancer. Scroll down. What is a unique diversity freelancer? I guess we'll find out. Contact services. Let's see what you do. Branding. I'm not seeing a lot of work. I'm seeing kind of what you do, services. So you brand and do graphic design. Is there a link to work? Services, about, contact. I'm not quite sure where work is. Services, about, contact. So I'm just kind of wondering where your work is. So just kind of checking that out. Let's check out your about. Once again, headshot's always nice to have in your about page. I like kind of this, but I'd like to see a headshot. I'd like to see what you do, and maybe I'm totally missing it. But if I'm missing it, others could be missing it too. So just kind of be aware. Okay, Steve, let's check you out. Let's go ahead and close a lot of these, so we don't have too much going on. All right, Steve, so this is the front of your portfolio. So I guess that is your logo, but it almost seems like I loaded wrong, because I just see the logo, but I don't see any text with it. It almost looks like it's loading the image in a separate browser window. So, but I like this here. So what I would do is start off with something like, forget about that. So I would just have it start right here. Put your logo as a small thumbnail, maybe all white, and I would definitely increase the contrast here because I cannot read it. Just make sure there's a better contrast, because I can read it when I do a hover over, but you need to reverse that out. Let's make sure the hover color is the standard non-hover state color. And I would definitely have your little logo there, and then start off with this. I think this would be a nice kind of thing you load the website. You don't have the splash image, you just start off with the good stuff. So logos and branding 2019. So another thing I would do is shrink your images. That's way too big. I can't really absorb the whole logo because it's taken up my entire screen. So maybe a fourth of that, 25% of that size. You can even be able to fit 4 of those on there and be able to show more of your work. But I like some of these. That's a really neat little vector illustration. That's pretty cool. So that's what I would do. Definitely increase the contrast of that. See, now I go back to the home page. Now I got to scroll down and then I'm back here. So it can be a little, you never want to make your viewer work. You know, don't make me think. I think that's a really popular UX UI book now that I really need to read. It's called Don't Make Me Think. So you want to go on a website and I don't want to have to think. I want it to be natural and intuitive when I go on there. So let's go to Photoshop because it looks like you have some really, I love that one. That's cute. That's awesome. Little floating head. I like some of your Photoshop work. So yeah, just kind of some quick little pointers in terms of kind of how someone, sometimes it's nice to get someone from the outside to view your portfolio because you may think it's great and then someone else looks at it and they point out a good idea that you didn't think of because when you look at something for so long, you don't get that outside perspective anymore. Okay, so moving on, Bacco. Ooh, this is nice. I love the logo. I love the white and black. I am a sucker for a nice, clean white background. The social media icons, you have a lot of stuff here. Great. It's great to show all your social icons, but not be super duper obvious about it. So they do it in a perfectly clean way. This is wonderful. They introduce themselves. Hi, it's me. You know, I'm a graphic design student looking for a trainee opportunity. You're already saying what you're looking for. I'm keen on practicing logo design. You're listing all your services. And then scroll down to see my work as a call to action. So this is perfect. It's a great link, a wonderful presentation, wonderful way to start with these nice thumbnails here, wonderful projects. I like kind of how you hover over. You get to see the name and you get to see the year. And notice how it's not super big. It's nice and subtle. It's just got a nice cleanliness, professionalism to it. So let's go do the herbs to know. Let's go ahead and see. Create individually designed. So she describes the project, this playing cards, and look at the design work on that. And it's really wonderfully presented. I like the shadowing. Everything looks really good on here. The project itself is wonderful. Here's the process photos. I get to see her process, kind of see how they drew this and how they colored it and how they kind of got to do all of that. So I get to see all the cards. What I'd like to do is to have these just be a little smaller because right now they're taking up my whole screen. And of course, if I collapse this, it gets a little better. So I got to always think about when I collapse it because some people are looking at tablets and some people are on their phones. And so you got to always kind of see how responsive your website is or your portfolio is. So I'd make that a little bit smaller, but of course it could be because I'm on a big desktop. So like right here is great because I really feel like I get to see the cards. So that might just be putting more padding on your right and left columns, just putting a little more padding there. And ooh, you may also I like that because when I get down to the bottom of a project, I don't have to scroll all the way up to the top. I can go, ooh, I want to see this one now. So now I'm going to go here. This is for a guitar festival. I can see this. And another thing, I would like to see more padding on the left and right. So this can be smaller because I want to see the whole thing on my screen. I don't want to have to scroll and see the whole thing. I really want to see the whole thing on my screen at once. So making it half the size might help me really see the project in more detail. Let's go ahead and go back to the home page and let's do contact. This is a nice, clean, I don't know what you use as your web builder, but it's lovely if you want to let people know what do you use for your web builder. And I can go to her Instagram account right here, check out Instagram, and I can go ahead and follow her if I want. And very nice. All right, Niels, here we go. We got a lot here. I think we have a website and an Instagram. Let's check out your website first. Okay, so another thing, you're using the free Wix builder, and that's okay when you're getting started, but when you're sending your work out to clients, make sure you get a paid version so you can get rid of that, because when I'm looking at portfolios and I see that, I'm like, oh, they don't have a paid, they're not investing into their portfolio. And right now you're still playing with it, so that's totally understandable. But yeah, make sure we get rid of that top banner, and I don't think you can unless you get the paid version. So just think about kind of how that looks to outsiders. So because I think it's stay there. Can I even get rid of it? Oh, it stays there the whole time. Wow. Ugh. So definitely kind of work on getting rid of this because your portfolio is excellent. I love your work. You did some recent stuff you posted on the student Facebook group, and it was good. I think you did some poster designs. I still need to comment on those. I thought they were lovely. So go check it out on the student Facebook group. If you want to check out his work, he did a whole rebrand, the House of Angels artistic company, and I just love the background. This looks really good. And he's one of the few people that use video, which of course I love the use of video when you start out. So he gets to present all of his different work. I won't have time to look at all of this, but you can kind of get a quick preview of kind of something he did. One thing I would do, this features just one of your work. I would love it if you had a video that features lots of your work instead of just focusing on one thing you did, so that they could show people more of a variety of your work right away. So let's do behind the scenes. I like this presentation, how this is broken down into different things. Looks like it's all one project. I think you're probably still building out your portfolio in terms of things. So let's go ahead and check this out, see what happens. Okay, so that's a photo. So this wonderful presentation and brand job here. I love this logo. I think you hand drew that. You were inspired by a Renaissance painting, I believe, that you got from somewhere, but it looks really nice and lovely. Make sure I don't lose my comments. Okay, so I almost wish I had a menu. Just so used to having a menu. It's nice to kind of have that for people who are just so used to going to websites and websites and websites. They need something predictable. But I guess this is all you need. How do I contact you? Oh, I got to go down here and contact you. So one thing we want to do, got to get a contact button here, social media icon, something here where I can go around and contact you right away. Because if I really wanted to contact you, I got to find it all the way down here. And I like how you went ahead and predated it 2023. I might as well, right? Go in the future. So about contact, so I can contact you here. That looks lovely. So that's just kind of some ideas for that. I like the video driven stuff, but definitely make sure that contact button is more apparent. And I believe you also have an Instagram. Let's check out your Instagram. I don't think I followed you yet. I got to log in. I don't want to show my secret stuff. All right. So you didn't just see that just now, but okay, close that. So Instagram, go on here. We kind of have a little bit branded thing on every one. It's kind of nice. It makes it look branded. Okay, great. So go follow him, check him out if you want to see his work. All right, Jonathan. Let's check it out. Okay, so we're on here. So we have a logo over here. We have something over here. What I'd like to see is this logo to the left. It doesn't have to be to the left, but I like to get these closer because I feel like they're so far distant that I'm not connecting these two quite as much. So we have two different options here. So let's click on the first. So logo for a Swedish alternative rock band. So I like the logo itself. What I'd like to know is a little bit more about it. Do you have your sketches? Do you have a process image that you can use? I'd love to know a little bit more about that logo design. And probably the same thing here. We know a little bit, but we just have one photo. Do you have a photo of it in a different color, on a black image, on a mock-up? I mean, just kind of some ways to kind of tell us a little bit more about what inspired you to do the O that way. What's did you use the golden ratio? These kind of things would be really important. Just like some more detail, so I don't feel like I just have two logos. I just don't feel like I have a lot to kind of dive into and get to know your process. So about me, I like the really simple, clean look of everything. It's a really nice style. I love the type choices you chose for your portfolio. I like your personal image. I kind of like how you're looking away. It's artistic. Nice bio. It's not too long. I feel like I actually want to read it. And contact. So contact you. Great. So yeah, I would just kind of put, you might still be working on new projects, and that's great, but I would add, more than just a picture of the logo. Tell me about the logo. Tell me the story. Craft the story for me. All right, Davina. All right, I'm only going to be able to choose one. If you guys submitted multiple websites, I'm only going to be able to do one from here on out because it's almost 40 minutes past the hour. So I love this logo right here, and I love this white space, and I love the typography. So right up top here is wonderfully crafted. I think this looks really, really good. Scrolling down here, we have graphic designer, we have an email, I can contact you, portfolio, everything's very clear, very unique. So here's the hard thing about doing one image is it's really got to captures your style. And it's hard to pick one project image that captures your style. So sometimes doing not necessarily a collage, but maybe two, or actually I don't mind this image. I think it looks good. It makes me really want to check you out more. It's an interesting image. So let's go ahead and go to work because that's where we want to go. Ooh, so if I click on the home page, let's see what happens. So we got a whole presentation of all of these. Let's say I want to look at your infographic work. So let's check it out. What's the buzz? I like the clever title. It's nice. Learn more. What happens if I click on learn more? Okay, so I get to read a lot about it. So that's great if I wanted to know more about the project. So that's a really cool kind of infographics. What I would like to see is one more additional image that focuses in on the detail illustration that you have. So maybe just one below that zooms in a little bit more on the little intricate details so I can feel like I can really see it. So let's go to branding. So we have some branding work here. Let's go ahead and click on this one. I think it goes back to here. Okay, so it goes back to all your work. So just making sure everything flows good. Make sure, pretend like you're the viewer. Ooh, that's beautiful. I like the typography there. I like how this scrolls. That's nice. I don't have to scroll down. It kind of does it for me. Although the pace is a little fast. That's okay though. Okay, so just make sure everything flows okay. And when people click on things, they're only seeing posters. And when they click on this, that they're only seeing that. So great work. Love that logo. Love kind of how you have a nice, easy, Into My Mind. Ooh, that's an interesting title. I like that. So you get to kind of find like a kind of blog post. Oh, cool. I like how you titled that, Into My Mind. It's not just blog. Blog's boring. Who wants to read a blog? But Into My Mind, that sounds really cool. Or musings, it's kind of finding different ways to be creative. All right, so Instagram, let's check out Instagram. I think I need to sign in, but S is for, kind of neat way you presented your Instagram. R is for radical, S is for strength, T is for talent. Ooh, very cool, very thematic. Ooh, I love process photos. I'm such a geek for that. But I think most creative people are. Okay, so Andrea, Behance profile here. Oops, we can't find that page. Uh-oh. Let's see. Let me just make sure I'm copying and pasting correctly. Okay, we can't find you. Let me try one more thing. Let me just search your name and hopefully. Not seeing you. Where are you? Okay, so what I can do, I can Google your name and then put Behance and see what happens. And if nothing happens, it's okay because we can always, and I'm not sure which one is, I can go back and do a video review of yours later for some reason. So I will highlight that and just get back to me and I'll do a video review just for you. Okay, so Jackie. Jackie is our illustrator of the bunch. So she has a Behance profile. I love how she has her email here. I feel like I can easily contact her. Nice about me, very short. I want to see another website connected to here, but not everybody has that yet. Love the banner image. I like your script name written here. I think that's a very clever way to present kind of your name signature, kind of a little bit of branding there. You can really see the texture of the canvas, of the paper. That's nice, adds a rich detail. I'm going to get a quick sip of water. Okay, so let's go ahead and check it out. I like your tags here. So you have photography, illustrations, and watercolor florals. So let's check out your illustrations. So let's take a look. So we have illustrations here. I'd like to see these a little bit bigger, kind of the opposite problem that some people were having. And because you kind of have these gray boxes, what I would do is expand that image out a little bit more. You may not need your photo because you already have a headshot on your home page. So I would get rid of this and make your focus more on the illustrations. Kind of like how you're telling a story. That's really nice. Scrolling down. Ooh. If anybody needs a children's book illustrated, please contact her because these look really nice. Oh, I like seeing your inspiration for the barn. That's neat. I would love to see that side by side. If I could see this on the left or this on the left and that on the right, instead of having to scroll, it'd be nice to see that side by side. Just little things like that. Okay, so photography, let's take a look at your photography. I'd like to see these bigger, take up the whole screen, but not that much bigger where it takes up so much of the screen you can't see it in its entirety. You'd also put some of these together as well, ones that go together. Okay, so excellent. I really love this top banner. I think that's a really great idea. All right, James. Hi, I'm James, and I love to create. Nice and simple. Ooh, and it's got a video to it. It's kind of adds a little motion, a little excitement to it. So there's this big arrow. I'm tempted to press it. So let's see. Right to the work. I love it. Okay, so we have identities, music industry, beer industry, campaigns, poster. Oh, whoa, there's a lot of options here. Where do you start, you know? Well, let's start with identities. It's the first one. I'm assuming that's his one he's putting in the forefront. Ooh, I love the animation. That's really neat. I like the presentation. I like how I'm seeing a lot right here, right away. I don't have to scroll a whole lot. I kind of like the examples here of everything. So this must be everything put together. Okay, so now I'm all of a sudden jumping to different brands, which is kind of neat because I get to see everything. I just wish I knew more about stuff. So I wish I knew more about this branding project before I randomly ran into the next one, because this one looks like it's associated with this one because it's next to it. So just finding a way to divide them, even if it's a paragraph of text that helps divide them or a header, some way to divide all these so it's not all mashed together as one. So let's go to about. Nice headshot. Okay, hi, I'm James. I love to create. Very simple. It's nice and short. Contact. I like how simple. I got 3 options. I'm not overwhelmed with stuff. This is a very beautiful contact form. Nice. Let's go to work again. Let's look at one more. Let's take a look at the beer industry. Let's look at the beer industry. I like how you have some detail here. Here's my design. It's an 11 by 17 print t-shirt. This looks really neat. I love that. That looks really, really good. So yeah, I like how you presented these. This is looking really lovely. Beautiful work. Scrolling down. Very awesome. So then you're getting to something else. So now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay, beer industry. You did multiple ones. Maybe just a little bit more information, maybe a bigger title so that I can understand we're going into the next brand at this point. So swirl and it keeps going. And remember not to be too long. That's about as long as I would do it. I wouldn't add any more. I'd take something out before I'd add something more to that. So awesome. So I got to move on quickly. Jake is next. Okay. Ooh, I like this. So I know you're still working on yours, I believe, but I like this typography work. I'm a designer and illustrator living in Kansas City, Missouri. There you go. It's nice and simple. I'm enticed. For some reason, I'm enticed. There's not a lot going on visually, but you know, it's simple. There's something about the simplicity here that's really nice. So like kind of the typography work, kind of the designer slash illustrator. There's nice spacing here. So let's go down to the pitch, clients, me. Awesome. I like kind of how you get a little preview. I don't have to click on it to find out what's in there. Let's do the pitch. So we have the pitch here. So the pitch. Okay, so this must be a magazine. So we got some information here about it. I'm guessing these are ads that you did for it. Okay, so let's go to clients. Let's see what kind of clients you have here. So bad, okay, so bad meeting client. So do I click on that? What is this? Is this an illustration you did? You know, I'd like to know just a sentence or two, maybe even just a header. What was the client's name for this project? Is it a personal project? Just finding out a little bit more about what you did here. Did you do the label? You know, did you just do the presentation? What exactly are you doing with all these particular pieces? Just kind of going in a little more detail over all of that. So let's go back to your home page. Let's do one more. Let's do me. Let's see what you do with me. Fun. All right, so me, so I'm seeing, oh, so this must be personal work, I'm assuming. So I thought it was going to be about you, but it is me, so it must be personal projects. So definitely make sure you maybe label that personal projects or put that as the main header. So I do like your overall homepage there. Just kind of work on, I think, kind of just labeling and making sure you guide people through your projects so they don't feel like they're dumped with a bunch of images and they don't know how to digest that. Okay, Ashley Berry. Then we're going to get into the PDF portfolio. So we have another Wix website situation, and I know that's how Wix makes its money, is it gets to have this banner everywhere. And so yeah, finding a way to get rid of that when you start to send this out to clients would be helpful. So Ashley Berry, not sure if you have a logo. It's not required to have a logo if you're a freelancer. Sometimes your name is logo enough. But I think I'd like to see something a little bit more here to kind of show off your style outside of just having it in a kind of a standard font, although that's good for SEO since it's live text. Just finding something a little bit different there. I like these simple 3 options. I get to go right to your work, which is really nice. Looks like you have some animation stuff here. So let's take a look. You know what I would like to see? If you have a lot of animation, let's go ahead and scroll down here. So if you have a lot of video-based stuff, I would have a video reel as your first thing they see, along with your name. Because I think if that's kind of what your mainstay is, looks like that's video, all these are video-based. So I definitely have one big video reel that puts them all together and have music and everything. I think that would work really good here. And it looks like you do have some standard non-animated kind of design work that you can also put there as a link. So that's exactly what I would do, is focus on what you think is your strongest suit. And if it's motion, then put motion as your big starter and put them all together as in one video reel. Okay, let's see how many people. We don't have a whole lot of people left, so I think we're doing okay with time. Okay, so, oh, cool. I like your hand-drawn logo. Very unique. Oh, ooh, we got to get in touch. Okay, let's go ahead and close that. That looks nice. Very lovely. If you did that image on the left, look at that. I love how this is presented and how the design, this echoes your design. So that's wonderful to look at. Ooh, nice, clean. I kind of like the bars, kind of helps me kind of really focus on my options here. So let's scroll down and pick out some of these pieces here. So is this something, okay, so I can't click on them, but I can at least get an idea of your style here. This is really interesting. I really like your style. Ooh, a nice clean footer. And look at that. I can contact you right at the bottom of your footer. How nice is that? Social and contact. Very clean, wonderfully presented. Let's do, so we have commissioned work. So this is paid work. We have here, can we click and make it bigger? Yes, we can. So this is, ooh, beautiful. I love the foil stamping or kind of the gold shine there on their print work. Looks really good. So let's go back to, so we have commission work. Let's do one more because everything is so wonderful. I don't know. Oh, clients. Nice. I like how you presented your client logos. They're all in the same consistency. This looks really, really professional. I know it takes a lot of time. You might want to reverse the bazaar out, just make it white on black, or, see if you can find a vector version of that just to make it consistent. I'm being super picky here, but I like how this is presented overall. Let's go ahead and look at Bungalow 8. So if I can sketches and click here and see it bigger. Oh, great. I'd like to see that bigger though, really see the details here. Because this is beautiful work. I just want to really get into it. I want to like make it bigger and see those details. So features. Oh, so we have press. You could do press slash features. Press and PR is probably more of a recognized term for that, but features is good too. So let's go ahead and click on this. And you were featured on several magazines. Wow, wonderful. You say about, I would probably reduce the white space here so we see you right away. We don't have to scroll. So I like your your size of your bio. That looks nice. And let's do contact and somehow shrink that white space there so there's not so much there. I like white space, but not too much. So wonderful work. You've got some very talented people. We really, really do. Okay, so we have an Adobe Portfolio, we have an Instagram. Let's do here. So Chris, okay, this must be his Adobe Portfolio. So use the Adobe Portfolio Builder here. So is this the home page? Am I on the home page? Okay, so this is the first thing you see. I need to see your work. I don't mind seeing you, but definitely want to see a piece of your work first. So you definitely need to have some kind of home page with thumbnails, with work that I can go and go ahead and get. So this would be great for an about page, but have it land maybe somewhere here where we could start to see all your different works. So let's go ahead and look at logos. Okay, so this is one of those cases where maybe I want to see less is more. So maybe pick 4 or 5 of your favorites and do more of a featurette with each one and get rid of the ones you think are, maybe not quite as good. So kind of focus on your best ones. And like this could be a featurette together since those go together, the Wario and the Peach. So that could be a little featurette where you kind of have its own little area for that. So photography, portraits. Okay, and that's all pretty standard. Get to see that. I'd love to have this be a black background. I think that looks really good with the tone that you have with your photography. So that's probably the biggest critique, is just making sure when I hop on your page, I want to see what you do. I don't mind seeing you, but it shouldn't be the only thing on there. So let's take a look at your Instagram. I think you have 2 Instagrams, but I probably just have time for one. Okay, so this is when you posted this, that's right. So this is kind of your presentation. I like this a lot. This looks really good, kind of how you presented all of this in terms of Instagram. So it's kind of hard to critique Instagram because it changes so much. I mean, in 1 week, your Instagram feed will change, but it's just being consistent, making sure each post looks like you. There seems to be consistent colors being used. If you go to my Instagram, there seems to be colors that are constantly being repeated, and it's kind of my style. So making sure you're echoing your style with your Instagram feeds. All right, so we have 2 more, and then I'm moving on to the 4 more PDF portfolios, and then we're all done. Okay, so hi. Okay, I like kind of this introduction. Scroll down to see my work. Seems simple enough. I got some simple work to look at. Dance festival. Okay. There's starting to be a lot. I'm already overwhelmed. Where do I start? I feel like I need some kind of guide to help me. Do I start with logos? Do I start here? It'd be nice to have maybe 3 thumbnails that say print work, and you kind of divide it up a little bit so I kind of know which one to click. I would almost prefer this first, this image. It's kind of your hero image, and then kind of go with the detailed image. So I just kind of reverse those 2. Make sure you reduce the white space here. Could just be my browser because there seems to be lots of huge chunks of white space between titles and images. So who knows, there could be something else going on there. Let's go ahead and click on one more of your work. How about the dance festival? So I'd love to see that a little bigger, or I'd love to see this first. So all your really beautiful mock-ups and hero images are last, and you really want to flip that and put that first, because that's going to have more high impact than that. That's not going to be high impact, but that is. So you want to put your high impact first, then you go into little details afterwards, after you kind of presented that hero image. Okay, so Christopher Brown, let's go ahead and click on here. Bizzle Art. Okay, so Chris Brown, about me. So I get to know a little bit about you. What I'd love to have is a little hint about your style right when I get on here. Maybe a little faded background image or a texture or something that kind of talks a little bit more about you, a logo or some kind of, so right now I'm just seeing standard text, and that's okay. But it's nice to kind of exude because you have a really cool style. Wouldn't that be neat if you started off with that and you had kind of, text coming in that had your name, or you had a logo up here so you didn't need to put Christopher Brown there. You can have Christopher Brown logo is already here. So you don't need this taking up all this valuable real estate space. So I'd start off with something like this because that captures my attention. I want to explore more about your style. So reverse those out, and then let's go to logos. Check out your logos, custom design. See, I like this because I get to see the logo, but also get to know more about it. This is exactly what I mean when I'm talking about describing it. a little bit more. This is really well done. And notice how he puts the logo here, and then guess what? He switches it up. It switches kind of the presentation and helps keep the viewer a little bit more, on their toes, on their feet. So it keeps me interested. So I like this kind of back and forth switching of the photo and the description. This is really well presented. I love how you're doing your logos here. I wish I had maybe more than just, I'd love to see this logo on something, or I'd like to see it in a different, one color presentation or something. It'd be nice to have a little bit more, but I do like this overall presentation, so I wouldn't change it too much. Let's go ahead and look at illustrations. So awesome illustration. So let's take a look. I'd almost lead with that. Sounds like illustrations is kind of more your thing. Look at that. So it sounds like that is definitely your talent, your main talent here. So look at that work. I'd almost make these bigger and have less of them. Oh, this is beautiful. Man, we got talented people here, don't we? Look at that. Ooh, Iron Man. We got everything here. So yeah, I'd love to see these just like 20% bigger. You don't have to make them that much bigger, but just kind of something more where I could scroll. I wouldn't have to click to see more. I can kind of really see it right there. And then contact me and resume. So great. I think this is a great website. Nice. Look at that. I love this contact box because you got a little bit of your work there. So you're adding a little bit of that personality. And it's a shame because your homepage is so uninspiring, but everything else is. Your work is very inspiring. So I'd love to see some of that inspiration right away. So please, 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 you don't need this Christopher Brown. Let's do something great there. Let's use some of your work, which is fantastic. Okay, so we have one more thing to do. We have a couple of these PDF portfolios. So these are PDF based, so these are going to be different than website based. So let's take a look at these. Some of these are kind of, you want to make sure you have a low megabyte. So I think there's one that's 57 megabytes. Just make sure you save it or somehow export it at a lower resolution just to make sure you get it under 10 megabytes because most clients have email systems where they can't take more than 10 megabytes. So this is kind of more of a technical thing with PDF portfolios. Make sure they are not too big. So let's go ahead and zoom out so we can really see this in detail. So hi, I'm Alea. Okay, I'm a graphic designer and artist and photographer. So you're in everything. I've bachelor's degree in English language, but my passion, so you just make sure you check your grammar and spelling, all that kind of stuff. It looks pretty good, but just, always double check, everything. I'm very horrible at spelling and grammar, so I'll be the last person to point stuff out. So here we have kind of some work right away. What I'd like to see is your work on the first page somewhere, a picture of you or some of your work, because right now it's very basic. You need to sell me yourself right away. So sell me yourself. So right now I'm just seeing a name. I'm seeing kind of some things. That's all important and all good. But I want you to really sell me your style right away. So I want to see that on the first page. So we're starting to see some of your work. The only problem with PDF portfolios, you can always zoom in and see details, but you get to kind of miss being able to click and interact and see kind of the details. And so you have to do that for them. So in this case, what I would do is I would spend one page on this and show them this, but also show them a zoomed in shot of the cover, maybe a detail that you like about it, and then spend one page dedicated to this layout, that kind of thing. So we have a B logo, so scroll down, brochure design, identity design, and some way to contact you, which is always nice to end with that. So that I would spend a little bit more time. It's a good length, but you can afford a few extra pages to go in the detail and talk about a little bit about the magazine and just kind of showing those little details. I think that would matter. Okay, let's do David. All right, let's zoom out. We are almost done here, David. See, you're selling yourself. Look at that. He's selling himself. So I got this beautiful image. I got this really cool logo on the bottom right. You have this logo that echoes here as a watermark. He's really selling himself already with beautiful typography. So this is what I'm talking about putting your style out there in the forefront. So wonderful job. About me, you have a nice profile shot. I could probably even zoom in a little bit more here. So have some great type. I would maybe loosen Have a little bit of white space between those two lines, but I'm getting more into design, so I'm not going to focus so much on that. But I like these little details here. Certifications, education, your bio's not too long. Yep, contact information. It's consistent with the branding of the first page. And I like how you have kind of a design here too. You're putting some of your work in the little background areas and having those opportunities. So let's get digital. Okay, so this is digital. So let's get, oh, so that's a logo design, I guess. Okay. I thought it was a title. Let's get digital, but I guess that is the logo design. Okay, got it. Okay, so now I kind of see a branding package. You describe a little bit of your process. I kind of like this. We got another new page with a new item. The banners were created by combining different effects in Photoshop and Affinity Designer. So I get to know about I can go down here and you really help describe all this. I like how you lay everything out. Everything's really professional. So it looks great. It doesn't look super high res, but that could just be, you know, the way the PDFs render things sometimes. I think we can make that more crisp, but I'm being super picky here, so don't worry about what I say. Okay, so next is Money Matters Mind Shifts. You kind of have some different presentations here. You describe it. This is nice. Illustrations, ooh, beautifully presented. I like this. I like the contrast between these two. You know, one's bright, one's kind of more natural. I feel like I'm moving through an experience when I'm going through this, and I like that. I feel like I'm really getting to know what he's doing, getting to know his style. I feel like I'm experiencing something, the way he has a header here, the way he goes into little details. Love the way this is presented. Oh, you did the Coffee Guild logo that I love. I think you were one of the winners. I love this one. So the Coffee Guild presenting this really well. And thank you. I hope to hear from you soon. You have a nice call to action. You have your contact information. Awesome. PDF portfolio so far, one of the best. I really enjoyed looking at this. I enjoyed it. You want people to enjoy looking at your stuff. You don't want to make it a chore because trust me, people are looking at hundreds of these and they get really bored. So you want to give them something fun to look at, make them excited about looking at your PDF portfolio. All right, so we have the next person. So portfolios, you're doing more horizontal presentation, that's totally fine. I prefer vertical just because some clients like to print it out for some weird reason, but I could totally roll with horizontal. Okay, so this is probably one of the reasons why horizontal is not going to work sometimes, because when you do a spread, it spreads so far across that I have to zoom out to kind of see everything and scroll. So that's the only reason horizontal is bad, but it's not, you know, it's great if you print this off as a flip book or you put it online as a flip book, that's totally okay. But sometimes when you do spreads, that's the only problem you run into. But I like how you have the left being a description and the right being the photo, a very, very clean presentation. So let's go ahead and scroll down and see what happens here. So we have this left to right. I really like how clean it is and you get to show everything off. I love these kind of horizontal little details. It looks like it's endless, like it goes up. It feels like this is part of the picture. It's really well done. Let's go ahead and scroll down. I love how you're switching up the colors. You have this beautiful bright yellow and then you have the contrast with some of these other colors. Beautiful presentation. So let's go ahead and scroll down. Ooh, and you have a little winner. I'd make that just a tiny bit bigger, some kind of winner, bronze winner for something, indigo. Definitely make that bigger. Put that over here. So that purple would totally pop out over that yellow. So make that little award bigger and then it'll really draw the eye to the award because you have some white space here. So yeah, you want to put your award right there. Just kind of something I'm thinking of. Ooh, I love how the colors are changing. Let me go ahead and zoom out just a little bit so I can see the whole thing. There we go. And if this was, I guess you could do it vertically, but I just wish I could see a little bit more detail and read it at the same time. Of course, I'm asking for a lot. Love the changing colors. Looks good. Blue. We got yellow, red. We got a green. So we're kind of cycling through those colors. Wonderful work here. I'm already interested in contacting you. What I might do is it's great, and I might even remove one or two projects that you feel like are maybe not as strong. So maybe some of the ones toward the bottom, maybe, you know, this one, just because you have quite a lot, but they're all really good. And I love your last final page. That's perfect. Lots of nice white space. It looks very professional. So that's what I might do. That'd probably be the only critique I have for this, because I think this is great outside of, the horizontal spread sometimes not always being easy to see, is maybe reducing it by 1 or 2 projects, just to kind of keep it a little more concise and focused. But I really loved working through this. It's, once again, it's just like David's. It's a joy to look at. I want to look at it. All right, last but certainly not least, we have Kanika's portfolio. So she's graphic designer, so she kind of presented all this and kind of her style. So okay, so let's go ahead and scroll a little bit about herself. This looks like a cover letter, which is not bad if they're requesting one. But if it's just kind of if they're not requesting a cover letter, I might even shorten that a little bit. I would do a pull quote. So have a little quote that divides this large block of copy to make it more enticing to read. So that's what I would probably do there. Maybe put some of your artwork somewhere in like a little circle that comes out, just to kind of give them a peek of your style. Because right now I'm not quite sure what your style is unless this is what it is right here, So we'll see. So experience. So right now I haven't gotten to a piece of work yet. So I want to get to that piece of work sooner. So you have this, and you have this. So I wonder if there's a way you can combine this page with this page somehow. And that might mean you have to cut some copy, cut some information. But I'd love for that to be one page, so then I get to, oh, we have even more stuff here. Okay, so brand identity, you're kind of going through your ideas here. And then you have logo design projects. Okay, so okay, so you have a lot of description here. I see. I'd love to see more photos for each one. So instead of just seeing just one single logo, I'd love to see your process, kind of your sketching process, or, the logo in a different presentation, or the logo on something, just so I can really see it come to life. I want to see these logos really come to life. And sometimes that means making a few extra pages to help you do that. You don't feel like you have to put 3 on one page. Maybe you have a focus, one logo for one page, and you really go into a deeper focus on it. Because right now, when I go down to here, there's a lot. Like this, these are just so crammed together. I feel like I can't really enjoy them and get to know them. So once again, this is where it all comes to the giving the viewer an experience. You just don't want to throw all your stuff there. You really want to walk them through the experience and your mindset and your style and your unique, proposition. So I would probably definitely spread this out over a few more pages. So you have book design. I'd love to see that as a bigger photo right here. Maybe this bottom one is a bigger header. Forget that little icon. I think it takes up too much room. Take this photo, put that on the top, make it bigger and high resolution, and then have your smaller ones underneath, and have your description on the bottom. Keep your photos together. Basically reverse kind of what we have here. So that would probably be my biggest kind of critique, is just making sure that instead of kind of cramming so many different kinds of projects together, is doing less with, doing more with less, and really highlighting 1 or 2 of these in more detail, and not feeling like you have to put all these together in one. I think that's everybody. Is that everybody? I think so. Let me go ahead and flip back to here. We can kind of take a look at this. So there we have it, everybody. If anybody has any extra questions, please let me know. I'm just trying to see if anybody has any additional questions. There's only 13 people live, but usually several hundred join shortly after I end. So if you have any questions, please ask. I have about 2 or 3 minutes left. And I'll go ahead and talk about one more thing, is if you've taken any of my classes on Skillshare or on Udemy, please leave a review. It's something that helps me out the most. It helps keep me going. It helps keep me teaching. Please leave reviews. They really help me out so much, especially on Skillshare. I don't get a whole lot of reviews. It's hard to get reviews on the Skillshare platform. But if you're on Udemy, I have a lot of Udemy students. Please, 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 if you're interested in purchasing any of these courses, make sure you go to my website, lindsaymarsh.myportfolio. I have coupons. No matter if there's a sale or not a sale, it'll automatically give you the cheapest price. And make sure you go through that to get your courses, and not just go through Udemy. Make sure you go through my portfolio, because it'll click on that. It'll give you the cheapest price if you click on that. So anyway, so please leave a review. I can't stress that enough. I really enjoyed reviewing your portfolios. We have some incredibly talented artists, illustrators, designers, photographers, a wonderful group. Make sure you stay active on the Facebook groups, posting your work, asking questions, ask me questions. Stay active. If you're interested in going freelance, I have that freelance masterclass for creatives. It's a fantastic class where we work through how to work with clients, how to do client contracts, how to price your work. We go over all the details of how to build a portfolio, which of course you've heard today, but I go into a little bit more detail. We talk about personal branding, how to do your logo, all these little details in this course. I've gotten some good feedback on the course. It's really helped a lot of people out, so I encourage you to sign up for that course. Of course, if you want to get that discount, I have it on the Facebook page, a link, and of course on my website. So that's it, everybody. I've really enjoyed this time. Hopefully you got a lot out of the portfolio review. That's the question I get the most out of students is how do I improve my portfolio? Hopefully you got to see my inner workings of how I view portfolios and kind of what I think about when I first land on a web page, whether I like it or not, and kind of why and why not. But all right, so I'm not seeing any questions. So anyway, I love you guys and thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being wonderful students. Thank you for sharing your talents with me. Hopefully everybody's seen your website. If so, if they're interested in following you, they can find out what your website is. Go there. I'm going to announce the winner. The person who gets their portfolio shared with everybody. I have a highlight. I'm going to be sharing that tomorrow. I got to go through this video, kind of watch it again and kind of see who I think would deserve that top spot. We're going to have the best PDF portfolio and the best Behance portfolio and then the best website portfolio. And I'll have links so that everybody can check out the winner and see some really great examples of what I thought was a really good website and portfolio. So thank you guys. I need to get off, need to get my son from elementary school, but love you guys and can't wait. Let me know what you want to do next in this next month's design challenge.